Yo, what is up guys? It's Geerzy here, and today I'll be showing you 5 Fortnite tips and strategies that have worked since Season 1. Most of these will be more factual and just interesting to look back on, but some might be useful, especially to the newer Fortnite players. Make sure to tell me in the comments which season you started playing Fortnite in, and how much your favorite landing spot has changed since then. Anyways, without any further ado, let's hop right into it. First, I want to go over crouch peeking, which is a technique/exploit that was heavily used by Tfue back in the early seasons. This is one of the ways Tfue gained a lot of popularity since he would laser people from across the map and rack up a ton of high kill games. You would simply crouch and uncrouch extremely fast while timing your shots for right when your head got close to the top of the ramp. This would cause the bullets to go through the ramp, letting you hit your enemies while they have no visuals on you. And since people were quite terrible at building, it was just a kill fest for Tfue. Obviously, this has been patched since then, but there are still ways that this concept applies to Season 9. For example, you don't want to just stand up and shoot at people with little cover or without moving around. You're going to want to duck down once in a while after doing some damage and move to a different position. Also, never pop your head up from the same spot, otherwise you might be a nice treat for a sniper. Now I know for a fact that everyone watching has camped in a bush before, and if you haven't, you're just lying. And that's alright, because I have too, and honestly, it was and still is a very good strategy. Some people liked using the legendary bush item, but most just liked moving from natural bush to bush, since they didn't move when you looked around. In fact, the bush item back then was pretty trash. It would break in the storm, was impossible to see through, and didn't offer any protection. Luckily, since then, the bush item has been updated to not disappear in the storm, protects you from one bullet, and is transparent from your view. Just hiding in a bush can easily get you top 25 or higher almost every game, so if you need to complete certain challenges or whatnot, consider hiding in a bush. And remember, when the circle gets smaller and it's harder to find people, don't forget to shoot bushes once in a while, especially the ones that look suspicious, because if you get a gut feeling, you're most likely right. But as you regular bush campers might know, it gets extremely boring sometimes, so a great way to pass the time once you have gotten yourself a nice safe spot is to drop a like on a Geerzy video and potentially learn more. Building wasn't very common back in the older seasons, but when people figured out how to get down from mountains by placing floors each layer, it was game changing. And what's pretty neat is this technique really hasn't changed at all, and it's still the go-to way to scale down natural terrain. Some ways to improve on it is by using ramps, since they provide a little extra cover from the front, meaning if someone is pressuring you, they will have a harder time getting damage off, saving you some health. Pyramids are also good, since they have a higher base, so if you fall too far down without placing a build, you have a chance of taking 0 or just a little fall damage, whereas if you were using a floor, you would most likely take a hefty chunk of damage. After this technique was discovered though, someone found a glitch where if you slide backwards down any natural height and held your forward key, you wouldn't take any damage. You can see it showcased here by the gamer couple, and as you can tell, it was quite OP, so not too long after, it was of course patched and removed from the game. Another technique that was first used in Season 2, but not as much in Season 1, was the single ramp wall push. If you were able to do this and actually use it effectively in-game, you were considered a pro, since most people would just place a single ramp on the ground and use that as cover to try and gain the high ground, so the people who went a little higher while supporting it with walls were insane. Dakotaz was one of the streamers who first started incorporating ramp rushes into his gameplay, and that set the base for all the new and crazy ramp rushes that were to come. The reason I still think it's a useful ramp rush is because it doesn't burn many mats, and if you're fighting an intermediate player like I was here, it just gives you a leg up to fire down on your opponents from. And just in case you guys haven't noticed, a lot of my background gameplay is from a match I played where I used the default skin and only picked up weapons that were available in Season 1. I'll show the winning kill right now where I used the reset bait technique to destroy my enemy. Speaking of baiting, the last tip that still works to this day is placing good loot on the ground, then hiding nearby and waiting for the right moment to open fire on your opponent. Because back in Season 1, there were many types of traps to use and everyone was so curious, so the second they saw loot, they would go for it, without checking for traps. You can place something near a bush and hide in that, or place a trap on the roof of a building and place something on the floor beneath it, while also hiding behind the stairs, if you're in a house of course. I tried to do this in my game using the bush strategy, and it would have worked if I had a pump, but sadly I didn't do enough initial damage and ended up getting third-partied. Make sure to not try and make it too obvious by dropping some ammo and mats. This will make them think it's an unlooted kill, but don't forget that most pros will know about this, so take the shot before they get extremely suspicious. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed or found anything of value, consider dropping a like and feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Fortnite content just like this. Anyways, a great way you can support me and allow me to make better content is by using code Geerzy in the item shop before making a purchase. With all of that said, I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.